In a previous video, I tried to build some geometric intuition for what a scalar line integral actually is, so if you have not seen that one yet, you might want to check it out as well. In this video, we are going to look at a concrete example and go step by step through how to actually compute a scalar line integral in practice. We take the function f of x comma y equals x squared times y. This is a scalar function on the xy plane, so to visualize it, we plot its value as height above each point of the plane. That gives us the blue surface you see here. Now we look at a curve in the plane. Here the curve is the upper half of the unit circle. At first the curve lies in the xy plane, then we apply the function f to it, and this lifts it up onto the surface. And once we do that, the geometric object we care about becomes visible. It is this orange curtain between the curve in the plane and the lifted curve on the surface. Our goal is to compute the area of that orange curtain. To do that, we need a parametrization of the curve gamma in the domain. A parametrization is a rule that takes a parameter t from some interval and sends it to a point in the plane. So we write gamma from the interval a to b into R2, and it gets mapped to the point x of t comma y of t. You should think of t as the input that tells us where we are on the curve. When t is at the left endpoint a of the interval, we are at the starting point of the curve. When t is at the right endpoint b of the interval, we are at the endpoint of the curve. And the parametrization should be a differentiable and hence continuous function. So when t moves through the interval, the point moves continuously along the whole curve. Something else that will be important later is the velocity vector. The function gamma of t tells us the position of the point on the curve. If we now differentiate gamma with respect to t, we get gamma prime of t. This derivative tells us how the position changes as t changes. So gamma prime of t describes the velocity of the moving point along the curve. It points in the direction of motion, and its length tells us how fast the point is moving. We will need this vector later, so keep it in mind. So a parametrization turns the whole curve into something we can describe using one variable. That is exactly what we need for integration. Now let us choose the parametrization for our specific curve. Our curve is the upper half of the unit circle. So let's look at a random point on the curve. Since this point is on the unit circle, we know the distance from the origin is 1, and the angle uniquely identifies it. So if we choose a equals 0 and b equal to pi, we can think of t as that angle shown here. The x-coordinate of the point is thus cosine t, and the y-coordinate is sine t. So for this example, a nice and simple choice of a parametrization of the curve is the function gamma from 0 to pi into R2, and t gets mapped to cosine t sine t. Now let us return to the curtain. To compute its area, we first look at one very small strip. That strip has two important aspects. Its height is the value of the function at the corresponding point on the curve. So the height is f of gamma of t. Its width is the small arc length along the curve. We call that delta s. Delta s is a small piece of arc length. So the area of one small strip is approximately f of gamma of t times delta s. But delta s can be rewritten in terms of the parameter t. Over a small time step delta t, the distance traveled along the curve is approximately speed times time. And the speed of the parametrized curve is the norm of gamma prime of t. So delta s is approximately norm of gamma prime of t times delta t. Substituting that into the strip area gives f of gamma of t times norm of gamma prime of t times delta t. But this is only the area of a small strip. We want to know the area of all those strips together. So we add all these small strip areas along the whole curve. In the limit, when we make the time steps, delta t smaller and smaller, that becomes the line integral. The integral over gamma of f ds equals the integral from 0 to pi of f of gamma of t times the norm of gamma prime of t dt. That is the formula we will now evaluate. Now that the geometric setup is clear, we can compute the integral step by step. We need two ingredients. First, f of gamma of t. Second, the norm of gamma prime of t. Once we have those, we can substitute them into the formula. Let us start with f of gamma of t. Our function is f of x comma y equals x squared times y, and our parametrization is gamma of t equals cosine t comma sine t. So we substitute x equals cosine t and y equals sine t. That gives f of gamma of t equals f of cosine t comma sine t equals cosine squared sine. Now let us compute gamma prime of t. We differentiate each component separately. The derivative of cosine t with respect to t is minus sine t, and the derivative of sine t with respect to t is cosine t. So gamma prime of t is minus sine t, comma cosine t. Next we compute its norm. So to get the norm, we square both entries of the vector, add those, and take the square root. Thus, norm of gamma prime of t is the square root of sine squared t plus cosine squared t. And by the Pythagorean identity, that is just 1. So now we can substitute both results into the integral. The line integral becomes the integral from 0 to pi of cosine t squared times sine t. Now we evaluate this ordinary one, variable integral. A good substitution is u equals cosine t, then du equals minus sine t dt. We also change the limits. When t equals 0, u equals 1. When t equals pi, u equals minus 1. So the integral becomes the integral from 1 to minus 1 of u squared times minus du. That is the same as the integral from minus 1 to 1 of u squared du. Now integrate. An antiderivative of u squared is u cubed over 3. Evaluating from minus 1 to 1 gives 1/3 minus minus 1/3. So the result is 2/3. So the area of the orange curtain is 2/3. And that is the value of the line integral in this example. What did we do? We chose a parametrization of the curve, computed gamma prime of t, computed f of gamma of t, substituted both into the line integral formula, and then evaluated a standard one-variable integral. That is the basic workflow for computing a scalar line integral in practice.